guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, my name is Lauren. I'm a homeschooling mom of two girls. One is 9 and one is 7. I'm going to show you guys what we have completed or are finishing up for this past school year, if they were hits or misses, or how things went this year. I think I have everything here, so I will be able to hold them up and show you what the curriculum looks like. I do have my curriculum video from the beginning of this year, so you can see inside and what everything looks like if you want to see that. So I'm going to start with my youngest and then my oldest and then family subjects. So let's get into it. First, we have Language Arts 1 from Christian Light Education. This is the teacher's guide, and there's 10 light units. This is actually the 10th one, so she still has this one to complete for this year. We love it. She's been enjoying it. She's been doing really great with it, and I'm really glad that we switched when we did. Also from Christian Light, we have Reading 1. And this is the last booklet for Reading 1. It's 105. And then the reader, I Wonder. She's also loving reading. The way level 1 works is you start with learning to read, and then halfway through the learning to read year, you start language arts, and then halfway through language arts, which has 10 light units, then you start Reading 1, which has 5. So I know that sounds a little complicated. They do have like a picture that kind of shows how that works. It's really a year and a half when you start learning to read through Reading 1. So learning to read for her, she already knew how to read. I just started there to make sure she had all of the basics and a really good foundation from Christian Light, because they are very thorough and very different from The Good and the Beautiful, which is what we started with. We did have Dash into Reading or Dash into Learning. We did have those Dash books, but again, she already knew how to read. I gave her just the tests from the first few light units, and then we did the last 3 light units from Learning to Read, and then we went ahead and did Reading 1. So I'm definitely big on not skipping things, but for her it was beyond easy. So I mean, there's definitely pictures in here, but this is by no means like a super simple like learning to read reader, as you can kind of see. So yeah, she's gonna be moving on to level 2, and I will be able to show you guys that. I'm already looking at our new curriculum for next year. So it was learning to read, then starting Language Arts 1, and then switching over from learning to read to Reading 1. I'm gonna put a little graphic up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about, the way that the year is supposed to flow. But yes, that went really well. And next I have The Good and the Beautiful handwriting level 2. I love their handwriting. Actually, both of the girls love their handwriting. We're gonna be continuing that for sure. She also finished Explode the Code 2. Those are always really funny, nice phonics practice. She also did Draw Right Now book 2. I don't have that one in front of me, but she did complete that, and she loves art too, so that was also really fun for her. And I like that it has more handwriting practice. And we are at the very end of Math with Confidence level 2. This is the instructor guide, but there are separate student workbooks. Love Math with Confidence. I'm really glad that we made the switch to this as well. Moving on to my oldest with a miss. So I don't even want to say it's a miss because I still love this program. It's just not the time for it right now. This is IEW 1A, Structure and Style for Students. I did go ahead and do the teacher training, and it is very lengthy, but again, very thorough. I do really love this program, so I don't really want to call it a miss, although if we're talking about this school year, yes, it was not the right fit for us right now. I love IEW, I love Andrew Pudewa, I love Structure and Style, I love the whole thing. I really think that I need to have like a whole writing video and discussion about this, but I will start here. So we did start this at the beginning of the year. We went through, I think it was November maybe, definitely before the holidays. We just ended up pausing it and obviously got busy through the rest of the year and just dropped it. It was honestly a lot for an 8-year-old in my opinion, but it is something that I want us to come back to. So what we are using for language arts, as you guys know if you've already seen my other videos, is Christian Light. So we did switch to Christian Light Education Language Arts 3. And at first looking at it, I didn't think that there was enough writing instruction, but it does gradually build and give them the tools for writing as you move along. So it is prepping them, but it's not a lot of writing in the curriculum. There is one lesson at the end of each light unit. It's like a creative writing. And I did look at the next level, which is what she's just starting now, is Language Arts 4. And this year she's going to be completing the first 2 light units of that as well. Because for Language Arts 3, we started with 304. We'll be finishing with 402. It gradually builds up with writing, and Language Arts 4 does have 2 days of the creative writing, but it gives them prompts. And my daughter really likes the guided, I would call them like guided questions, to help her get started. Because if I talk about writing, like we used to do Brave Writer, we did partnership writing for a little bit. That was too open-ended. And then if we're talking about IEW structure and style, obviously has a lot of structure and framework for that, which I still think is really good and important to have. I would need the IEW writing. For Christian Light and their light unit, so this is actually Language Arts 4, I grabbed 404. And for creative writing day 1, it says my favorite food. So my favorite food, it has them explore. Imagine your friend has never seen or tasted your favorite food, and then there's a draft. So they're not gonna name their food. And here's the questions for this example, but it's the guided questions that she really enjoys. It's like, not like, okay, here, write about your favorite food. It actually asks questions to help guide her and what to write about. So it's not the, I don't know what to write about, and it's not the, this is exactly what you write. It's an in-between. So it guides the creativity, I feel like, is probably a good way to say it. So what does your favorite food look like? What color is it? What is it made of? Where does it come from? What does your favorite food taste like? Is it spicy, sweet, juicy, or sour? And use descriptive words. So that's day 1. That's like her first draft. And then day 2, I don't know what you guys can see. There we go. I don't know if that's clear, but I'm still gonna read it to you. They're reading over the first draft and seeing if it makes sense or if they want to add anything. And then it also has proofreading, so they're also looking at that. Did you indent the first line, capital letters, periods, spell the words as carefully as you could, indent each paragraph, and then change whatever needs to be fixed. And then the final draft. Say, do not skip every other line. Did you write the title, your name, and did you write neatly? So this, like I said, the Language Arts 4, that's kind of building them up. I believe it was Language Arts 5. There's like a full research paper, like the entire book is a research paper, I believe. The writing definitely ramps up. So I feel like I just talked about Language Arts. So she completed Language Arts 3 already. She started Language Arts 4 from Christian Light Education. And if you can't tell, we're loving that. It's very thorough. We're just trusting the process on that. It seems to be going really well. She enjoys it. It is definitely an all-in-one and is very thorough. Part of me feels like I'm missing something, but I also know that I'm not, because everything's covered. Like, I don't really need a bunch of different extra language arts pieces, and I'm really trying to embrace that and go with it, especially for next year. It's an all-in-one. So more Christian Light. Christian Light Education Reading 3, and this is the reader. Doors to Discovery. I believe I talked about her not necessarily needing this for comprehension, but they do learn so much more than just reading comprehension in this. We are definitely continuing next year, and she wants to continue next year. So we're going to be moving on to Reading 4, which will also drop down to only 5 light units a year. But Reading 3 has 10 light units, and Reading 4 will have 5 light units. It'll be a lot easier to plan. The Good and the Beautiful Handwriting Level 6, which I just learned there's only 7 of them. I knew that I bought them all in PDFs so I could print them out for the girls every year, but there's only 7, so she's gonna be doing level 7, the last one. But yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. It's a lot smaller. A lot more to write. And copy the adverbs. This book is all cursive. I do love The Good and the Beautiful Handwriting. She did Explode the Code 5. These are so easy for her, but it's a lot of fun, and some of them are just really funny. Here's Draw Right Now. This is Draw Right Now, book 3. She did this year. It's a lot of fun just to draw the picture, write the sentence. The girls love those. So she finished Math with Confidence Level 4. So Math with Confidence Level 4B, so the second half of the year she finished. Then she went on to do fifth grade math with confidence. We started this, like just started. We did the first 2 units and then we paused it to save for next year. These are the teacher's guide, by the way. There's actually 2 smaller books for each grade level. So that's going well, but I definitely wanted to slow her down a little bit. And actually she told me she wanted to practice multiplication. And we went ahead and started practicing multiplication. Multiplication facts that stick. You can kind of see it's just multiplication practice, like over and over and over, and super simple. It could also just explains to you like each week. It's 10 weeks, 5 days a week. So there's 50 lessons, if you will, or 50 like pages to do. Yeah, it's like a 10-week program. So she's finishing up her school year with multiplication. And like I said, she knows a lot of it. There's just a few that she'll get stuck and she gets frustrated that she doesn't know them off the top of her head. So we're just gonna do this because we already had it. It was just something else that we had. So she's going to be finishing that up and on to family subjects. So both of the girls finished up More Than Words, level 1. They both have their own book. This was just their Bible curriculum for the year. Some crosswords, pictures to color, things like that. Yeah, so More Than Words level 1, they love that. They actually get really excited to do More Than Words. And for Not Consumed this year, at this point, we've only done Making Peace. I do plan to fit in another 1 or 2 just at the very end of this year. I don't want to say like this year or next year. We'll just say summertime, we will be doing a Not Consumed study or 2 before we pick up our next Bible curriculum for the following year. But the only one that we officially did so far for this year was Making Peace at the beginning of the year before we started More Than Words. Last year for me to find science curriculum that I wanted to do, I did end up going with Science in the Beginning by Dr. J.L. Weil. So this is Berean Builders. I do really like it, so I don't want to say it's a miss either. It wasn't a right fit. The girls still like this curriculum. I still like this curriculum. I do think for my oldest, there were different points where it was like really simple for her. It worked better for my younger one, and we will be switching curriculum for next year. But there were 2 issues with that I had with this. Every lesson, there was an experiment. Now, I don't really want to say that is a bad thing. It's just something that I don't want to be kind of required to do. And when I say there's an experiment every lesson, I mean, so this blue part is the experiment. And then the rest of the actual, not the rest, but like a good portion of it will say, hey, as you saw in the experiment. So it's not like I can easily skip the experiment. I still have to reference it and talk about what the experiment was about. So we don't always do them. We usually don't do them, honestly. So it's, of course, referencing. It's like, what did you see when you did the experiment? And then there's like a lesson review. So a lot of it is based on those experiments. I'm just flipping through, not really showing you guys. But you can see the blue part is an experiment. You can kind of see what I'm saying. It's not that it's a bad thing, but there's a lot of experiments, literally every lesson. Not a bad thing, but if you're someone who wants to skip them and keep it really simple, you're still gonna have to be explaining the experiment and what happened. Again, not that that's a bad thing, but I do want to switch to video lessons next year. Didn't really mention this. I don't even have a point where I can point out exactly the part or parts where it would happen, but it would be something really simple that I would be explaining, and then the next paragraph would say the exact same thing in different words. So I would feel like I'm repeating myself over and over, saying the same thing over and over, which I'm sure different kids can like pick up how things are stated in a different way. So again, it's not like it's a bad thing, but it kind of annoyed me as the one who was reading it. I do like this curriculum. I think it's great if you want to do experiments every day. It just wasn't for me. But I think the content is good. It just wasn't for us. Next I have history, American Girl history from Little School of Smiths, and Knotgrass, Our Star Spangled Story. We're still working through part 1. There's 2 books, part 1 and part 2. And I do have my video on how I combine these 2. This is going to be ongoing for about 3 years or so. I have a whole video actually explaining how I use these 2 and how I combine them. But the girls love it, and check out my video on these guys if you want to see how I use them together. But I know that was a highly requested video and I made it this past year. But the girls are loving it and we are definitely continuing that. We're in the 1800s, like Josefina. I always call her Josephina. I always have since I was little. Josephina, Josefina. So we're working through that right now. And I know I also showed meal prep books. We are definitely doing meal prep as a family every week, but we are not using the cookbooks. We keep it very simple. So we just are prepping proteins, veggies, making sure we have just things on hand to quickly grab. If the girls want a snack, they can open the fridge and get like carrots, peppers, tomatoes, hummus. Like there's just a bunch of things just as options for them for snacks that are just ready to go. So yeah, meal prep is definitely a go, but we are not using the meal prep books. Super simple. I will have recipes coming, just things that I like to make. So that is everything for this past homeschool year. We are definitely wrapping things up. A couple little things we need to finish up from these books, but I will have our new curriculum video up soon because I have already been behind the scenes planning for that. Definitely going to try to keep it simple. I know I say that every single year, but I really am going to try to keep it simple. And a lot of that is actually thanks to Christian Light because I'm not having to use so many different pieces for language arts. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I hope this video was helpful, and if you want to see the full curriculum video and flip through, you guys can check that out. I will also have it linked below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.